Welcome, welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I'm your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out www.thebestdampodcast.tv. Follow me Instagram at Best Damn Podcast, Twitter at the Real Best Damn, and wherever you're watching from, please make sure to hit that like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Share this link, get it out there, spread it far and wide, and don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell, that way you guys can get notified every time we got something new coming out. And keep in mind, we're completely viewer powered. If you'd like to donate support to the channel, the links are in the description box below. Everybody who does gets access to exclusive content, our private and uncensored playlist and Dropbox, private shows weekly, or consider booking a personal tarot reading, soul profile. The phone number and the links and all that stuff is down in the description box below. And to everybody who does support us and all of that, man, big ups, big thanks to you guys. I appreciate you guys a ton. Um, I've tried to do this stream a couple of times now, but I believe I'm good. I do see that we're live on YouTube and that it's actually going out everywhere, so we're going to go ahead and do this tonight. Um, right now, very, very interesting time to be alive, especially when we look at a lot of the things that are taking place. We've got global agendas right now that I believe there's a new awareness coming to the planet that a lot of what was forced on us in the name of these emergencies and pandemics and all of this may have not have been in our best interest. It may have even been a part of something that's far more nefarious than what most are even willing to admit or willing to recognize, and that could be a global depopulation agenda, and that it's multifaceted. When we look around geopolitically as well, right now there is a nuclear threat when it comes to Ukraine and what's taking place there with Russia, between the United States. A lot of shit talking back and forth. We've had strange news coming out about Xi Jinping and him perhaps being out of power. We're going to address all these things tonight. We're going to look at some pretty interesting things. Showing just what's going on across the world, what people are catching, a lot of the strangeness, the weirdness, and this don't even take into account for the fact that there is geoengineering and weather modification uh, that a lot of people believe is being very intentionally targeted to specific areas. Like Japan just got hammered. This is a great ally of the United States and NATO. Is this part of something way, way bigger? Or is this just the result of external influences like, particular celestial alignments, solar maximum, the electromagnetic field going into reversal? Is this a part of fucking climate change? Everybody's got their opinion on this, but I think it's important to show the things that, you're not normally going to see, the mainstream isn't going to give to you. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to look at some of the weird and interesting things that are happening right now, and I'm going to leave it to you to decide. Where you stand on these topics, where you stand on all of this. We'll start here first with totally creepy videos. These people seem to be possessed shortly before experiencing a collapse and a paralysis. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, man, this is a little graphic, a little extreme. So if you're squeamish, you might not want to watch. The individuals in these videos can be seen observing something shortly before experiencing a collapse and paralysis. Now, in the first video, it seems that the person is trying to hit something, turning himself around, like maybe an insect or a bug or something. But what you're going to see is he gets weird. He starts looking around, kind of doing this 360 thing with his head. His arm goes up, almost as if he's pointing at something. Then he just locks the fuck up, falls down, starts seizing. And in all three of these videos, you're going to see very, very similar things. And, one wonders, is this like neurological side effects, perhaps from something? So here you go. Here's the first video. Guys at work, chilling, I believe this is in India. This one, um, just hanging out. Everything's normal. And then watch, he starts to get a little bit fidgety, starts looking around, swatting at something, and Boom. And he's like looking at something as he locks up. I mean, this is just crazy. People come running in trying to help him, but look at how stiff as a board. It reminds me of, and I said this when I was trying to start the video a little bit earlier. It reminds me of the nano freeze. Remember we would do the private videos and show all these people just lock the fuck up and like do this nano freeze type of deal. That's exactly what this reminds me of. You know, very very insane. Moving to the next video. And it's really weird how number 2 and 3 video, they make the same exact movement before collapsing. This one is very graphic. You can see a train right here. Let's just say he doesn't make it. Here he goes. Doing the head thing, turning around in circles. Now watch. Arm goes up. And just like other guy loses balance, and this time he's underneath the train wheels. He definitely didn't make it. So we're not going to show that for a second time. We're not going to go back through that one. And then finally he says, look at this at their eyes. It's like as if, they're possessed by something before falling. I don't think they're possessed. I think they're having a neurological disorder or something. It says what you're watching is actually temporal lobe to the tonic-clonic seizures captured on camera, and people aren't observing or trying to hit anything around. Their brains are actually short-circuiting before the rigidity. The temporal seizures creates a spinning world effect and then grows into a full-blown grand mal, the type of seizure most people think of when they hear the word. And this one is in Asia. Dude's at a bank. And you see, like, just he's up there at the desk. He's getting his shit, got his wallet out. Nothing too crazy. And then watch, you're gonna see once again, you're gonna see like the 360 head movement. The head start to spin, and then boom, right there he goes. He's starting to look around, right, and it's every time. It's every time spinning in circles, and then arm up, bam, down on the ground he goes. And he's locked up once again. And I think most of my viewers, at least, could guess why this is happening. But I can't speculate too much on the public platforms. I just thought it was worth showing you, though, and worth looking at, honestly. Moving forward, and we're going to look into a lot more of the different things that are taking place right now. This new moon in Libra, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, right? This is a time for a lot of new beginnings and stuff, but astrologically, with Mars going retrograde here in October, you can look for things in the media being blown way the fuck out of proportion, perhaps pertaining to different sicknesses and diseases. You can look for financial instability or, kind of a shaking of the markets, and you can also look for war-like energy, right? With Mars going into retrograde, you see here the outbreak declared in Uganda after the first death since 2019. They're going to keep pushing this because it gives them emergency powers. And you see the imagery here, them digging the mass graves. It says Uganda's health ministry has announced the country's first death from the highly contagious Ebola virus since 2019, declaring an outbreak in the central district of Mubende. The confirmed case is a 24-year-old male who presented the EBD symptoms and later succumbed, the ministry said on Twitter, using an abbreviation for the Ebola virus disease. In a statement released earlier, the World Health Organization said the 24-year-old man from Mubende had tested positive the relatively rare Sudan strain of the virus. This follows an investigation by the National Response Team of 6 suspicious deaths that have occurred in the district this month. Hopefully here. But And I don't know if the sound played on that video or not. If not, I'll read it here. This is the first time in more than a decade they got the Sudan strain. They're working closely with national health authorities to investigate the source of the outbreak while supporting the efforts to quickly roll out effective control measures. And I think basically that's what it's all about, right? Is this, you know, is this. We're going to see the last time we had similar astrological alignments, we seen the flexing of the muscles through the first pandemic. So we might see a little bit more of that, and kind of looking on the global stage too. Like I said with Mars retrograde, look, U.S. warns of horrific consequences in Russia if Russia uses nuclear weapons in Ukraine. So taking a look, and this is a lot of shit going back and forth. But Washington responded to Russian President Vladimir Putin's veiled threat of using nuclear weapons of serious consequences and that the U.S. would be decisive. The consequences would be horrific, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said during an interview. The Kremlin later said in a sporadic contact with Washington over nuclear issues, the first Russians drafted in the country's mobilization drive have started arriving at bases, and military analysts are raising doubts as to Moscow's ability to equip and train all the new groups. The number cited for mobilization is 300,000, nearly double the size of the initial invasion force. And I literally was on BitChute earlier and seeing a video of all these motherfuckers arriving. So it's happening. Anti-mobilization protests appear to be continuing, with reports of standoffs with authorities and several arrests in Russia's North Caucasus region. Dagestan, a gunman in eastern Siberia, was detained for opening fire in a military draft office. Meanwhile, Russian-led referendums in the occupied area of Ukraine are on their fourth day, and Ukrainian officials, as well as people inside the territory, say that some people are being made to vote at gunpoint and that Russian forces are staging votes. And that to me is psychological warfare. They know the United States is supposed to be a democratic nation and all this shit. So of course, they're going to push. People are being forced to vote at gunpoint. Of course, they're going to push. Atrocities on children, atrocities on innocent people, because it's going to get you to support a war effort. That's really all that breaks down to. Let me see if I can look in the chat here. I do appreciate Higher Mind 1111, DJ Azu, Justin Michael, Johnny Badass, Tim Hamby. Thank you guys. I appreciate all y'all for joining me. Moving forward here, we got Jupiter. It's coming its closest to Earth in decades. I find it strange. We have double asteroid redirection taking place right now. Right here on Monday, we got 3 large asteroids passing here on Monday, and we also have Jupiter at its closest point. 65 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth. Today, NASA strikes back the DART spacecraft, intentionally colliding with asteroid Dimorphos to see if human tech can change the asteroid's trajectory. And this could be used in the future to divert, dangerous impacts. And at 7:14 Eastern Time, DART's kinetic impact with Dimorphos. There'll be a media briefing afterwards at 8. So, I don't know if you guys have checked any of that out. I don't believe that they have that capability. That's my opinion. I don't think a fucking tin can knock an asteroid off its course, but that's just me. Putin could have justification he needs for a nuclear strike in a few days. The upcoming referendums held by the Russian-backed separatists in Ukraine may give Vladimir Putin what he needs to justify a nuclear strike. This week, Russian state-run news agency TASS reported that separatists in 4 territories of the Donbass region will hold referendums on joining Russia from September 23rd to the 27th. Such votes had been previously prohibited by law from taking place, and Putin could use the referendums to find reasons for an attack that are in line with conditions Moscow has set for the use of nuclear weapons. And that's what we were just pointing to. The United States in their response to this, saying that if they use nuclear weapons, or there's going to be consequences, there's going to be there's going to be a response to that. And that's why you have shit like this. If you really believe that all the money going to Ukraine is really going to Ukraine, then you don't understand how money laundering works. Biden could have negotiated peace between Russia and Ukraine, but he wouldn't have been able to launder billions to his corrupt family, friends, and donors. And this goes for every fucking politician under the sun, you know. So, and in other interesting news, 1947 FBI report suggests interdimensional beings exist amongst us. You see here, part of the Alaska carry crowds, others are under remote control. The missions are peaceful. The visitors contemplate, let's see if I can make this bigger. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane. The visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. They are not uh, excarnate Earth people, but come from their own world. They do not come from any planet, as we use this word, but from an etheric planet which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. The bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically um, materialize in capturing vibratory rate of our uh, own matter, and the discs possess a type of radiant energy or ray which still disintegrates many attacking ships. They re-enter the etheric as still or simply disappear from our vision without trace. The region from which they grow is not the uh, astral plane, but this is the locus or Tili. The esoteric matter will understand these terms. They probably cannot be, I can't see what that says by motto or radar or signal, but can be devised in the apparatus. So, I mean, you guys want to check that out. That's something pretty interesting there, but we see more and more coming on. And I told you guys, we'd see some shit about aliens around this time because the astrology matches, um, Roswell and all that shit, that this would be more paradigm shattering shit. And, that's what they're doing with the crazy weather, with the ETs, the world war. It's just to shatter, the paradigm of your world, your reality, so they can kind of get a grip and use their suggestive programming to kind of push you in a certain direction. Bright light streak across the sky in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware. And this is a SpaceX launch, right? They launched 52 more satellites. 52 more. This is the fucking tap on to the 20,000 they've already dropped commercial here. And like I said, we have Jupiter, which is going retrograde, moving back into Pisces. It's coming its closest to Earth in decades, all as this happens. And many people who believe in Nibiru know the ancient Babylonians called Jupiter Nibiru. So it's kind of interesting to see a lot of the things that are taking place as this happens. It says the gas giant Jupiter is coming to the closest it comes to Earth in 59 years this Monday. And it will be particularly visible because it coincides with another event called opposition. When the planet is in opposition, it's playing on the opposite side of the Earth from the Sun. So you could draw a straight line from the Sun to the Earth to Jupiter, all in alignment. And the opposition happens every 13 months. But basically, if you look up into the night sky right now, Jupiter is bright as fuck, guys. I mean, it's visible with the naked eye. You can even see some of the things if you have binocular right now. New island form continues to grow as Home Reef underwater volcano erupts in Tonga. We have Tonga back into the news. The Southwest Pacific Ocean stretches from New Zealand to Tonga. It has the highest density of underwater volcanoes in the world. And on the 10th, one of them awoke. And in the days since, it has repeatedly oozed lava. And 11 hours after the eruption began, a new island rose above the water surface. And on Landsat 9 captured the natural color view of the young island on the 14th as plumes of decolored water circulated nearby. And, it says on the 14th, researchers from the Tonga Geological Survey estimated the area of the island to be about 4,000 square meters or 1 acre and an elevation of 33 feet above sea level. And by the 20th, it had grown to over 24,000 square meters or 6 acres. So, and this is Hunga Tonga Haipe, right, where we had that very intense eruption, and now it's creating a whole new fucking island underwater. So, I mean, go figure. All of Florida under the state of emergency as dangerous tropical storm Ian strengthens to a major hurricane soon before impacting the state. And just a few things breaking it down. The key messages for the tropical storm advisory. Um, just how it's expected to produce heavy rainfall, hurricane conditions expected, and this has just been a lot of people believe that there's some fuckery going on with a lot of this because of the locations, that these things are taking place and because the intensity that's being seen and the anomalies on the satellites. I mean, you know, it's a little bit much, especially when you look at what's been taking place all over the place. Fiona, one of the strongest ones to hit Canada, slams in Nova Scotia, leaving hundreds of thousands without power. You look at New York right now, Texas right now, California right now, Canada, Nova Scotia, basically all of fucking Europe. Energy crisis. People without power. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And there's just tsunamis, the whole nine, right? As hurricane Nova, hits Nova Scotia. That's the air. That's no joke. No joke. This is devastating weather. Look at that. The ground swelling up, water being sucked in. Yeah, and you got that many people without power, you know. See here. This is, everything just sinking. Kill that sound here. Everything's sinking, man. You know. And this is becoming more and more like, the norm, really. And this is why you have shit like this coming out. UN food chief warns of hell on earth for food lows. The UN food chief warned Thursday that the world's facing a perfect storm on top of a perfect storm and urged donors, particularly Gulf nations and billionaires, to give a few days of profit to tackle a crisis with a fertilizer supply right now, preventing widespread food shortages next year. Otherwise, there's going to be chaos all over the world. And this is the World Food Program Executive Director, David Beasley. He said this in the AP interview. And when he said he took the helm of the WFP 5.5 years ago, only 80 million people around the world were headed towards starvation. And I'm thinking, well, I can put the World Food Program out of business. But the climate numbers increased to 135. COVID-19, 276 million people, and then now it's up to 345 million people. And he says within that are 50 million people in 45 countries knocking on famine's door. And if we don't reach these people, you have famine, starvation, destabilization of nations unlike anything we saw in 2008 or 2011, and you'll have mass migration. So he's letting you know, right? That shit's it's at the door. And here's China's upheaval and the takedown of Xi. This has been in the rumor mill a lot. Like I said, Russia with the nuclear weapons threats, and now all this shit about Xi. I don't know what you've heard pertaining to this, but people have been asking me questions about it, so I am going to just show you a few things of what I found. And this is China's upheaval and takedown of Xi. And this is alleged under house arrest, no longer in charge, seeking additional clarification as China's internal politics differ from any place on the planet. And to me, this is kind of that Q-tard nonsense, shit that gets pushed to kind of psyop everybody and get them to back conflict with China, to back conflict against Russia. So I take this with a grain of salt, but here you go. Xi is no longer in charge, locked out of the nuclear weapons control. Military and banking sectors of China's government, are in charge now, and actions are happening. The answer is yes, that Xi Jinping is under house arrest. He lost control of the military, and He's lost control of the CCP. He's lost control of China's banking system. And to say it bluntly, all his power was stripped from him while he was at the SCO meeting, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And this is also why he didn't leave his bunker in Beijing for 2 years, except to attend Shanghai Cooperation Organization. All other times it was his double, and while he was away, his power was stripped from him. To say it bluntly, his eye blew it. And, it goes on about prayers from Christians, and that's why that happened. Yeah. Whatever. Extreme Typhoon Tala slammed central Japan, killing 2 just days after deadly super typhoon Namadal hits on Monday. Thousands in the dark. This is becoming the norm. Take a look here. Typhoon. And they see a record of basically 17 inches. Look at that. I'm sure. I think there's another video down here. Yeah, right here. Typhoon Talis. Huge fucking shit. And this is just right after they're just doing destruction left and right. Keep in mind, Japan is a major ally of the United States, right, in NATO. This weather war, you know, is that what we're seeing, or is it just the results of something bigger that's taking place across the planet? Possibly even biblical, right? And look at all that, man. Pretty crazy. Um, and if they were constantly lying to us. This was interesting because with in light of DART and the double asteroid redirection test, I just wanted to show this Voyager 2 pictures, and this just shows you exactly how fucked up everything is, right? These are the pictures released by the European Space Agency on September 21st of the planet Neptune. But you see Voyager 2 pictures, 89 Neptune, Hubble 2021 Neptune, and then Webb Telescope 2022 Neptune. You see how very, very different the images are. Now they're saying it's got rings. Dude, they make this stuff up. It's all computer generated images. You never see a real image of a fucking planet. So when they try to get you to believe they're launching shit into asteroids and all that, I find it very hard to believe. Or how about this? Dr. Kamapleet Singh, they want you physically, mentally weak, isolated, lonely, forever in debt, without God, without gender, without children, depressed, anxious, afraid, obese, addicted to drugs, eating cockroaches, wearing masks, living on rent, and being dependent on the state for everything. Yeah. So, and they also want you in fear of war, right? Inside Russia, I'm not dying for Putin. Showing protests heating up inside of Russia right now. People anti-war protests. You see the shit getting a little crazy. But I mean, is this the state-run propaganda from Russia, right? With anti-war protests, are they pushing this here in the United States to just get us riled up against Russia because they know that it's getting ready to escalate? Like what is it truly? Yeah, and Putin's not fucking around. Not fucking around. Even nuclear blackmail is coming to play. And he's saying too, like all the NATO countries, United States, through Ukraine, this is threatening them with, nuclear catastrophe, and they're going to respond with nuclear. Beyond control, 1,500 graves at a cemetery swept away as Nigeria is devastated by the worst flooding event in decades. 300 dead, 500 injured, and 100,000 displaced. Thousands of hectares of farmland destroyed. See the images here, and here's some video. Look at all those people walking through the water, man. No fucking joke. All the cars in the water, too. No joke. This is happening everywhere, dude. Forces of nature. You know? And here's Lagos, Nigeria, right here. Look at that. They were just fucking sitting on top of a car. It goes under. Yeah, that's intense. That's intense. Powerful magnitude 6.8 earthquake kills one in Mohican in Mexico just 3 days after a magnitude 7.6 shook the same area, killing two, and a magnitude 5.8 quake rattles New Zealand. Major seismic events, right? The 6.8 magnitude earthquake hits Mexico. And I'll show you here video footage right here. This is a 6.9 in Michoacan. You're gonna see the shit start rattling, the power go out. Yeah, look at that. Everything shit. That's you can even see the earthquake lights kind of blasting through the outside there and in the skies as well as it's taking place. Yeah, this was intense. You can see in the stores, everything taken. Right? So, they definitely experience some intense shit here. And here's images as well. Everything, everything. Signs in the sky, all of it, man. All of it. New Zealand raises volcano alert level for Lake Taupo after 700 small earthquakes swarms a supervolcano. You see on the map imagery here the Central Lake Taupo cluster. In a statement, the Geological Survey GeoNet said it had detected almost 700 small earthquakes below Lake Taupo, the caldera created by the giant volcano, and raised the alert level to 1 from 1 to 0. So, you know, this is more seismic volcanic activity, and that's just exponentially increasing as the days go by, and this is all over the place. Major magnitude 7.6, Pacific coast, tsunami floods, Manzanillo, at least one dead. See right here. And here's some of the videos. I'll show some of the videos here. This isn't like living a video, it's kind of to the side here, but you see all the water flowing. Very crazy. Now check this one out below. They're just like they got the goddamn the announcements going off and everything. I don't know for whatever reason here I'm on letting the sound pick up, but and here you go. This is the Mexico earthquake footage. This is this is intense. Look at that, the car shaking, dogs running and shit. Look at that, everything on fire, and it's just an absolute insanity. Look at that destruction, the devastation. Yeah, I'd be shitting my pants if that was me. But look at that. Monuments and shit shaking. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Very intense, man. And Typhoon All slamming Japan, prompting evacuations of millions. This has been huge too. Showing video. Yeah, man. It's like natural disaster after natural disaster. You know, this is why people believe, the weather is being modified to attack like the intensity, the amount of destruction, the amount of death, and then the areas. It's always like these major agricultural and farming areas where this happens, or strategic places, for geopolitical conflict. Right? It's like always something. When it comes to that major population, there's a little bit of laid down. Becoming pretty normal, right? Seismic weapon in action. The deadly magnitude 6.9 earthquake hits Taiwan. The second major quake in less than a day. Is this a link to the weaponized weather? A massive 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the southeastern coast of Taiwan on Sunday, bringing at least one building down in a small town and prompting Japan to issue a tsunami warning. Japan's just been getting smoked here lately. And take a look. Buildings collapse here in Taiwan. know, that's a big conflict, right? Because of the one in China with, the U.S. and China. So, yeah, destruction everywhere, too. Look at that. It's like a fucking war zone. Looks like a war zone. The roadways destroyed. This infrastructure just devastated by it, man. And a lot of people believe that this is weather warfare. It's weather modification that's doing this. I mean, look at that. All these images here. You know, all these images. The quake hit at 2:44, about 50 kilometers north of the city of Taitung at a depth of 10 kilometers. This is the second strong quake on the island in less than 20 hours. Right? Three people trapped in the rubble, while a fourth person was saved. They lead to huge power outages. And the spokesperson said there were also damages reported at a school. And the earthquake struck during 9:41 p.m. Saturday, according to the data as well, and reports of objects falling from shelves. The metro system was temporarily suspended. The epicenter in Temblor was about 35.8 kilometers north of Taitung County Hall, the depth of 7.3 kilometers, the Bureau of Seismology Center said. So a lot of people believe that that's very suspect. Also, we also know, Pakistan, India, China, the conflicts there as well. After unprecedented monsoon flooding, now the outbreaks of waterborne and other diseases, right? So they can bring the government in for the destruction, now the disease. The World Health Organization raised the alarm Saturday about a second disaster in the wake of the deadly floods in Pakistan this summer, as doctors and medical workers on the ground raced to battle outbreaks of waterborne and other diseases. The floodwaters started this week in the worst hit provinces by many of the displaced, now living in tents and makeshift camps, increasingly facing the threat of gastrointestinal infections, dengue fever, and malaria, which are on the rise. The dirty and stagnant waters have become the ground for mosquitoes. You can see right there a little promotional video. I'm deeply concerned about the potential for a second disaster in Pakistan, a wave of disease and death following this catastrophe linked to climate change that has severely impacted vital health systems, leaving millions vulnerable. And that was the World Health Organization director that actually said that. So, you know, I don't know. It's to the point now to where um, all of these agendas seem to just be running into one another. It's all out there in the open too. Whether you're talking about fucking interdimensional beings, or you're talking about the metal particulates they're putting into the air coming out of these planes and shit. Like, it's all out there. There's no hiding any of it. They admit to the frequencies they use. They admit to the tactics they run. Um, Anybody still in disbelief? Anybody still doubting? That there is some type of agenda to really take that population down. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. They're trying to bring it under to 500 million, and it's all done through deception. Assassin drones, mosquito assassins. Question: was it Russian or Chinese? What's up, One Solo, Jacques Renew, the U Channel, Rage Against the Machine, Little Bear. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you, man. Up Yours 73, Melville, Tim Hamby, Johnny Badass. I appreciate everybody for joining me. World's largest produce plant in Paris burns down today. Well, and that's what I mean. Like, they're fucking attacking food processing centers. It's scorched earth, is what it is. Like, where and if you look up like the definition of scorched earth, that's exactly what it entails. Is going after food processing in places where they produce food, agriculture, farming, farmland, places where they grow crops, livestock, right? Whether it's putting them all down because of disease or whatever. Fuel shortages. That's why you're getting these oil dumps and just all the fuel shit. The power grids, right? The electrical supply. This is all scorched earth. This is taking you out meticulously, piece by piece, so you have no um, and they'll even go after your own population when they do this shit, and that's what they're doing right now. So, I mean, the shit's really obvious. And it's to the point now to where you can't say much about it. You get on these platforms, yeah, but why the hell would they put the monetary system on the grid? Everything ending in destruction because this isn't the final monetary system. We're going to a more of a digital based crypto system. I mean, so we're doing something way different now. Honestly, I'm gonna throw the chat on so you can actually see the chat here on the side. But this isn't the final monetary system by any means. So we really are. We're going to be switching to something that's going to be connected to, it already is connected to our digital IDs, but based social credit scoring system. And when they finally liquidate all the country borders and all of that, which is happening, we're on the way to that. I think we'll find that you won't be able to get anything outside of unless you have good standing with the government, unless you have biological IDs and shit like that. Fuck the system. That's what I'm screaming, Rachel, is fuck the system. I've been saying that for years. I'm hoping it catches fire and people start screaming it too. But I hate to say it, the further we go, the saddest part is I feel like the less people want to fight. The more they feel beat down by the system, the more they feel like they can't win. Like they just get more discouraged by it, or the more they're just like, I'm not even I'm not putting my energy into the negativity of that. I'm not feeding into that because I know that there's so much manipulation and psychological warfare and shit too. You watch a Notebook, realizing John looks like Ryan Gosling. I don't know who the fuck Ryan Gosling is, but if he's handsome, I'll take that. UBI, Universal Basic Income, more cash. Exactly. Well, and if they take away cash, which they've been working on that, if they take away cash and they can account for every dollar, there's no more you uh, give me $5 as a gift and it's unaccounted for and all of that shit. No more of that, right? No more you borrow $20 in cash and or pay me to mow the grass or whatever it is that you pay somebody to do or give them money for. There's no more. It's all gonna be taxed. It's all gonna be accounted for. Um, the system is on the yeah. What's up? What's up, R? Nice to see you. Um, the system is on the grid, and the grid is only going to if you let it act like the motherfucker is going to collapse, or like we're at some bad time for electrical problem. All of this, it's just the old infrastructure. All the 5G shit is running fine, right? They're launching Starlink satellites every damn day. You're about to take on corrupt cops with an ex-cop who got fucked over for trying to expose corruption with the Victorian police. And that would be in Australia, because Rachel's from Australia. The G system radio frequency heats up the planet. If you look at some of my private videos, I did private videos, with the DARPA experiments with the Beatles, and it wasn't just millimeter waves that they were using to fuck with frequency or whatever, with the hydrogel and all that. They were also using radio frequency. So it wasn't just 5G. The old technology, Doppler, all that shit, it's doing it too, So they got many ways to tune in and tap into your ass, via frequency. So, and they're all puppets. And all puppets are in place for the image of the beast. Harp. It's absolutely harp. Matter of fact, I wish I had my videos on this PC I'm using. I had some really good ones tonight to share, but I had to switch computers because I couldn't get shit to stream from the one I was using or whatever. So, but that is the way it is. I mean, yeah, electromagnetic frequency. That's what they're doing. They're using those waves to heat up the ionosphere and to create cyclonic weather anomalies and concentrate precipitation and fucking, electricity and all these different cosmic energies, on a massive scale. That's why you see these hurricanes and shit. They'll literally stop off a fucking coast, spin around and build up for hours and then come flying in and just destroy a place, level a place. And it's always like a place of like high dissenters or a place of like a primary military target, some type of importance to the places that that this type of shit happens to for real. What happened to no taxation without representation? I don't know what the fuck happened to that. Too much going on in the world. Something's bound to blow up instead of a chain reaction. It's a matter of time. I agree. But I mean, when is it a matter of time before people really step into like new awareness? That's kind of what I'm wondering. It almost seems like, if anything, people are regressing consciously, regressing spiritually. It's like, I've even noticed it in myself a little bit. It's so easy to get distracted and just fucking, really, really make excuses to put it all out of your mind and to say, okay, well, I'm not feeding into negativity and this doesn't affect me directly and whatever. We make a lot of excuses, but the truth is we seek enlightenment so we can enlighten others. We learn how to love ourselves so we can better love other people. Like we're supposed to build ourselves up and to raise our awareness, to raise our spiritual strength, our spiritual aptitude, and all of that, so we can better serve our fellow man. And it's just a lot of survival of the fittest type shit, even in communities, people are like, I ain't fucking with it no more. I don't care if they don't wake up, they don't wake up. Yeah, distraction, name of the game. CERN, a matter of time. Yeah, well, the United States is a hoe. Yeah, the United States is definitely a hoe. The United States has been hoeing it for quite a while. The best money in the bank is knowledge. Well, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. A matter of fact, uh, people don't dig it too much, but I don't give a fuck. I was doing a new moon and Libra ritual. Like I use my power of my knowledge of the stars and the esoteric understanding and all that. It's almost so easy to see the bullshit. It doesn't grab my interest like it once used to. But I see the patterns and I see how they're trying to walk us through a lot of these things. Like they're capitalizing on the energies and taking advantage of us, and it's leaving us in poverty. It's making our children stupid. Like it's an agenda and it's attacking us genetically, like on every level, whether it's the food we eat, the people we fuck, like it doesn't matter. Like they're attacking us genetically. So it's up to us to really take care of ourselves and realize that our bodies are our temples. Our mind is where all reality stems from. Our thoughts do. That's how we create. And it's the state of mind that we allow ourselves to be in, the energy we allow ourselves to be in, that attracts the shit in life to us or repels the shit in life away from us. You're confused? Well, wouldn't it be great if God puts his finger on the hurricane and flows her play? Well, it would be really great. It'd be really great to see God step in and do something, but I feel like God works through us. The battle for the soul, it is. It is. Ultimately, if you want to progress within the system, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in your job, whatever it is, somewhere along the line to keep going within the system, you've got to compromise your morals, your beliefs, and all of that to continue, being successful in this world. So it's like, I feel like this would be a great time for all of us to learn how to be more self-sustainable and to learn how to live off grid and to really rally together, and create communities of awareness and, enlightenment and like minds and really do our own thing, our own economies, our own trading and bartering systems, our own ways of exchanging monetary value, but we have to be willing to really open up to different views and different ideas. And one of the things in spiritual communities I see is people are so fucking dogmatic. It's not funny. Like still, it's like, why would you seek truth to break indoctrination only to like re-indoctrinate yourself into your own fucked up ideas? It's like, it's like we're being force fed these ideas through YouTube creators and fucking, magazines, the internet, Facebook, social media, whatever. Like, so most of the ideas ain't even fucking original. Most of the shit was being pushed back with Timothy Leary. It's just being recycled now as some new, fucking innovative concept or way of looking at shit. People get offended too easy these days. Yeah, dude. Well, and you know what? It's hard to look at our world and say that there's not a God or there's not a creative energy here. I think we are that creative energy. I think we come from that. We're a part of that. But it's hard to deny that. When you see the perfection of just the human being, and you see the perfection of love, really, right, and how it inspires us to be better people, how it motivates us to do more, to be more, how it can even turn us into martyrs in some type of way, to like sacrifice ourselves for the betterment of future generations, people we haven't fucking met, you know, or how it can get us to, really strengthen our resolve against, tough odds and shit, And it seems like the whole world's really against you. Love conquers all. It's hard not to see that there is like a grand design behind all of this. Uh, Everything tells you that something intelligent made our world, and that good always overcomes. If it wasn't so, every time a cycle would end, it'd just be over, right? The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. It would just consume until there was nothing left. It's parasitic, So good always overcomes, or else there could never be a new beginning, a new start. Um, Rule 69, no chaos theory. Yeah, they cut us off in a heartbeat. Well, they have. Um, you guys remember just a couple years ago, people were fucking fired up. People were fired up about spirituality. People were fired up about awakening. People were fired up about fighting back. People were fired up about change. Um, People were inspired, to be creative themselves, to seek their own truth themselves, to use their own voice, their own strength, their own power themselves, and it was beautiful. But it's really diminished quite a bit. Your problems, you never finish anything. Me either. I feel like I don't finish much either. Like I start new projects a lot of times, and I don't either. So I can't really talk too much shit. You know, can't talk too much shit. But I have seen this through till its end, till its conclusion. So I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen people come into the truth, awaken, and stand on their own 2 feet, come up with their own ideas, their own concepts, and even begin to use their own voice or find their own creative outlet to apply their energy and themselves to. So I've seen a lot of cool shit over the years, and I've got to meet a lot of cool people. So I do know there's still a lot of great minds and great hearts and great souls out there that really would like to see change in our world, that do believe in, supporting each other and lifting each other up and really spreading knowledge and awareness and trying to raise the whole frequency of the planet by raising our own frequency, our own vibration, and believe that there is like a new era, a new age, a new world, if you will, that's being born, and it's not the one that some elite fuck in a bunker has got planned out for us. It's going to be a conscious one. It's going to be a spiritual one. And whether you're into the Aquarian shit or not, whether you believe in astrology or not, like whatever your particular flavor or brand that you subscribe to when it comes to like spiritual beliefs and schools of thought, 1,000-year Christ, millennial reign. Basically, all of them say the same thing, that knowledge increases, and when you step into an age of enlightenment, and there is kind of a social restructuring that takes place. I think the needs of the many will finally outweigh the few, and I think that they're not going to be able to. There'll be people that are totally controlled and influenced through the technology to such a point they have um, there's no sovereignty left in them, and they'll fall to the wayside. They'll be victimized by all of this, and they'll collapse with all of it when it goes away or as it changes fundamentally. But there's also going to be people that the breakaway civilization, right? The illuminated is you and me. Like we're the breakaway civilization. We're the people that's not gonna conform to things that we know are just unfucking healthy. We're not going to conform to things that we know is just flat out brainwashing, manipulation, and nonsense. Like we're just not going to do it. We're not going to teach our children that. We're not going to, we're not going to go that route, no matter what it costs us. And I think that we're being forced to figure out new ways to create money, revenue for ourselves. To find ways to utilize our passions and desires in our jobs and careers, and to use our gifts, our skills, our talents to kind of just help the world and bring more awareness to one another. Keep the Sabbath holy. The commandments of God in your heart. Be the altar of creation. Be grateful for the breath of life. Yeah, no doubt, man. Power of assimilation. Isn't it basically what it boils down to. You either empower yourself or you assimilate. You empower yourself or you assimilate. And that to me, new moon in Libra, Rosh Hashanah, new Jewish New Year, all that, that's what that's about. Rebalancing shit, um, bringing harmony into your life, and all you do, and I feel like that's what we should all be seeking right now. Is trying to create more harmony in our everyday life and in our work, our our bigger spiritual pursuits. Um, in harmony with each other, with the whole. How can we affect things in a more practical way as well? And really put ourselves in positions to succeed because we know that the new paradigm or new normal, new reality doesn't quite function like the old. So there's a learning curve there, but I feel like a lot of us are starting to get the hang of it now and taking the training wheels off, stepping into that Aquarian energy, that freedom of consciousness and seeing how connected we all truly are. It's really cool. It's really cool. You believe in one true creation? So do I. I believe in one true creation as well. I believe in one God, one mind, one soul, one. I believe in the oneness of the all. That's what I believe in. So, and I believe we're all connected. We come from that source. No matter how we project, reflect, or appear, whether it's as angels, demons, humans, or whatever. Like it's all us, and we all come from that one. So I'm going to harmony, rhythm, and balance. No shit. That's ultimately what it's all about. We're all trying to just find ourselves in all of this and find where we belong, where we fit in, and what we can do to really affect the greatest change, within ourselves and to others, really. Much respect to you, man. Have to learn to step away from the internet. The internet's it's a gift and a curse, right? Like it's got so many cool things. It's let me meet like lots of cool people and learn lots of cool things, but at the same time, I see how it's been used for social engineering and fucked up stuff, dude. Targeting people and all kinds of shit. You know, so much division, too much division. But it's because people focus on our differences instead of celebrating our differences. Instead of celebrating what makes us different and seeing how that makes us unique, individual, and special, they focus on the differences and then create labels out of them to create more division, more separation, and to keep us focused on problems rather than solutions. You know, planned addiction, yeah, well, it's all planned here. So, one way, shape, form. It's all God's plan. That's why you can't judge anything or anyone, really. You don't know what stretch of the journey they're at, and what we all got to experience and go through something different or different things to get us where we need to be. To get us to see what we need to see. Honestly, celebrate our differences. Absolutely. Well, I truly believe that. I truly believe that with my whole heart. I believe that. Um, I feel like everybody who watches stuff like this is very different, very unique. Maybe even what you consider outcast, even like black sheep. So we understand that without those differences, without what makes us unique and special, like we wouldn't be us. So why we scold one another for the things that's different about us is just crazy. Just crazy. It's like, do you want to escape a system of conformity that's trying to create, cookie cutter molds and make everybody robotic as fuck, you know? And do you want to see true beauty and expression? Like it's like all up to you. What you want for yourself, what you believe, what you think we need. A diverse combination of souls. Absolutely. Absolutely. Each one important, each one special, each one beautiful, and each one adding to the overall collective and the overall greatness that is humanity, that is the spirit. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I will be doing live tarot readings tomorrow. right now, I got a special. We're at the end of the month, so this is when we ask everybody to donate, to support to the channel. It just helps me keep the channel going, um, myself as well, and take care of me, those I love. So, 33 bucks a month. You can join the Best Damn Fam, private live streams every week, private uncensored content, or you can book your own personal tarot reading to the end of this month, $33. You'll receive your own personalized reading within 24 hours, or your own soul profile for $66. That's all just to the end of September. The first day of October, I'll be launching the new tarot and astrology channels, which will be separate. So you'll be able to go watch that somewhere else if you're not into that. And I'll try to focus, more on what I focus on here and keep them separate. That way, if you're not into it, you don't have to watch it. And if you are into it, you can go over there, subscribe, and check it out. But everybody consider donating, supporting, subscribing, clicking the bell, hit that thumbs up, and consider booking a reading. If you need your links because you supported the month of September, or you're trying to book your reading, text 513-393-2396 or email the realbestdampodcast@gmail.com. That way you can get your links or you can get your personal reading. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love all of you. I appreciate all of you so much, man. I will see you next time. You'll have a wonderful evening. Peace.